This is Colin
This is the
Cosell,
longest
the
top
voice
of the hour
of
I've
City
ever
Field,
experienced.
and you're listening to 90.3 WMSC, Upper Montclair, New Jersey.
Here, Tammy, you want to come like right over
1967,
here?
the voice of Montclair State University.
All right, 10 seconds, people.
So stupid.
And welcome back to the Tuesday Morning Buzz. We might be the best buzz overall, but we have probably the worst sportscaster when it comes to sports. Keep my sportscast name out your mouth.
You're listening to the Morning Buzz.
To the Morning Buzz.
To the Morning Buzz.
Aiden Ivers.
Good morning.
And also newscaster. Hi, how are
Good
you?
morning. I'm good.
Sportscaster. That was a joke. Tanner is very good. Tanner Price. And of course, the Tunes on Tuesday segment host, Emily McCormack.
Howdy.
I hesitate on that because my mind always says it's the Emily segment host, and that's not right. Anyway, we have a show for you today. As always, we have more news about Ukraine. Once again, moving into the U.S. portion of it, how it affects us as a country and what our president is saying about their president. It gets confusing. We'll fill you in. We got things going on about Florida and new bills, crashes in Pennsylvania, and possibly a change in what's it called? The way school or the time school starts. Anyway, before we have all that, we have our newscaster, Aiden Ivers. Aiden, what is going on in news?
Thank you, Kyle, and good morning, everybody. My name is Aiden Ivers, coming at you live from 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair with the newscast after a week we just had with the unfortunate loss of Foo Fighters drummer Taylor Hawkins. Rest in peace, Taylor Hawkins. So in national news, according to CNN, tragedy struck Dollywood this past week as a young boy suffered a fatal accident from the Orlando Freefall Tower attraction, causing the attraction to temporarily close. In statewide news, according to NJ.com, a 28-year-old Parlin man was arrested by NJ Port Authority after using, quote, a blackout curtain that covered the rear license plate, end of quote, of his car before entering a cashless toll. That's some pretty great innovation right there, if you ask me. And in local news, according to Montclair Local, the Township Council of Montclair met yesterday to discuss potential plans for a voter referendum centered around the control of rent in spaces across the town. And for weather, for the first portion of this week, I think it's safe to say that these are Emily's days. Yeah! Because we'll have a high of 40 degrees and a low of 25 today, followed by a high of 44 and a low of 39 on tomorrow on Wednesday. Thursday, out of nowhere, high of 71, a low of 52, but a 50% chance of rain with possible thunderstorms along that with that as well. And Friday, April Fool's Day, we'll share a great laugh around a high 54, low of 35 with a cloudy, sunny sky. And for the weekend on Saturday, we're looking at a high of 56 and low 38 with mostly sunny skies. And on Sunday, a high of 53 and low of 37 with cloudy skies. Great way to celebrate WrestleMania weekend this weekend in Dallas, if you ask me. And this has been the top of the hour one news and sport and weather forecast here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Back to you, Kyle.
Thank you, Aiden. But why does April Fool's Day need to be on Friday when I'm already among these fools? That's a joke you'll kind of get later. Anyway,
You want
moving
me to Will Smith you again?
do it this time.
No.
Slap me. Okay, maybe not. Anyway, Tanner, instead of doing that, why don't you give us the sports news?
Okay. Yesterday, the Ottawa Senators announced that team owner Eugene Melnick has passed away at the age of 62. The team said in a statement that he passed away from an illness he faced with determination and courage. Melnick bought the team in 2003 and has remained owner since then. A big Metropolitan Division matchup takes place tonight in the Berg as the Rangers take on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Every game will be crucial for the Blue Shirts as they battle for the top spot in the Metro and the seeding in the division as well. The Islanders start a home tonight with a bout against the Columbus Blue Jackets. It was rare good news for Detroit Lions fans yesterday as they learned the 2024 NFL Draft will be held in Detroit. Dan Campbell's Lions will also be featured on HBO's Hard Knocks, which is an inside look inside NFL training camp. A day after signing with the team he spent his best years with, soon-to-be Hall of Famer Albert Pujols has announced he will retire after this season. Pujols is 21 home runs away from 700, so time is ticking for the machine. The Yankees continued spring training yesterday with an 11-7 win over the Detroit Tigers. The Yankees take on the Phillies today as we inch ever so closer to opening day. The Mets were off yesterday, but will meet with the Marlins today. It is the first spring training outing by newly acquired starter Chris Bassett as he tries to earn his spot as the Mets' 3 starter. The Knicks pulled off a surprising win over the Chicago Bulls yesterday, the final being 109-104. Forward R.J. Barrett and guard Alec Burks nearly put up the same stat line, with 3 assists and 6 rebounds each, with Burks scoring 27 points and Barrett scoring 1 point more. The lowly Pistons are in Brooklyn tonight as Kyrie Irving looks for his first home win since the vaccine mandate was lifted for athletes in New York. Back to you.
Thank you. And moving on to our top story today. According to AP News, Biden clarifies his bold statements. President Biden said that he would make no apologies and wasn't walking anything back after this weekend's comment that Russian President Vladimir Putin, quote, cannot remain in power, end quote. Many European countries were quick to distance themselves from the president's comments, saying that is not something they are pursuing. The president also insisted he's not calling for regime change in Moscow, which would have represented a dramatic shift toward direct confrontation with another nuclear-armed country. Quote, I was expressing the moral outrage I felt toward this man. I wasn't articulating a policy change, end quote. The president's jarring remark about Putin, which came at the end of Saturday's speech in Warsaw, that it was intended to rally democracies across the world. Biden rejected the idea that his comment could escalate tensions over the war in Ukraine or that it would fuel Russian propaganda about Western aggression. Quote, nobody believes I was talking about taking down Putin. The last thing I want to do is engage in a land war or a nuclear war with Russia. People like this shouldn't be ruling countries, but they do. The fact that they do doesn't mean I can't express my outrage about it, end quote. He said he was expressing an aspiration rather than a goal of American foreign policy. In other words, I'm not saying he should be removed. I'm just saying he can't be in power. It means the same thing.
Yeah.
He's look, Biden, President Biden, if you're listening, you're not, but I hope you are. First rule of finding yourself in a hole, stop digging. You're not making this better for anyone. You can't just say, oh, I don't think he should be in power, but I'm not saying we should take him out of power. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably just standing there like, sorry, Putin. I didn't mean to say that.
And look,
but I'm still going to say it. Yeah,
exactly.
It's not, he didn't change anything about what he said. He didn't change anything about what he said.
It's
in this
basically, I want to say what I want to say without any repercussions. So I'm not taking back my statement, but I really don't want to go to war with Russia.
Yes.
Same. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Either you take back what you said, or you find some way to deal with the repercussions that saying this thing is going to have, because it doesn't matter if he's right or not. President Vladimir Putin is not somebody you want to toy around with.
Yeah.
Because we've seen in the last few weeks that he is not afraid of pushing nuclear threats.
Mm-hmm.
They might be empty threats or not. I don't think anyone wants to play around and find out.
I think the same thing.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter if you agree with President Biden's statement or not. It's the fact that he said it, and so many countries in Europe were like, no. And now I don't know if it was every country, it just says many here, but it really feels like now we're number one. We're the ones with the target on our back because no one else has stood with us or stood with Biden on this statement.
Yeah. He might be getting left out to dry here because none of the countries, especially in Europe, are going to say this because who knows what Putin.
Oh yeah, they're much
do.
closer. They're much closer to Russia than we are.
He might, if it's a country bordering Russia, he might say, Putin might just say, okay, we'll invade you, and you never know.
It's not like he hasn't done that before.
So,
and keep in mind, folks, Russia is a country that takes up 2 continents.
Yeah.
So both countries in Europe and Asia are in more danger than us. So that's probably why a lot of them are distancing themselves. Anyway, Aiden, would you like to take the next story?
Sure thing, Kyle.
Thank you.
We have updates on the Florida Don't Say Gay bill. According to APnews.com, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill into law on Monday that forbids instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity in kindergarten through 3rd grade, a policy that has drawn intense national scrutiny from critics who argue it marginalizes LGBTQ people. DeSantis and other government officials have repeatedly said that the measure is reasonable and that the parents, not the teachers, should be broaching subjects of sexual orientation and gender identity with their children. The law went into effect just days after DeSantis signed a separate bill that potentially restricts what books elementary schools can keep in their libraries or use for instruction. Quote, "We will make sure that parents can send their kids to school and get an education and not an indoctrination." DeSantis said to applause before he signed the sexual orientation and gender identity measure during a ceremony at a preparatory school outside Tampa. The law states, quote, "Classroom instruction by school personnel or third parties on sexual orientation or gender identity may not occur in kindergarten through 3rd grade or in a manner that is not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students in accordance with the state standards," end quote. Parents will be able to sue districts over violations. And the rightful co-host just stepped in the room. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jake.
Yes. No, the sleep monster's got me today. I have to fight them off.
You're fine. But okay, so here's the thing about this story. Is specifically the quote, "We want to make sure we can send our kids to school and get an education, not indoctrination." That can go for literally anything.
Yeah.
Like we read literally last week about the school in California where the teacher, I forget what grade it was, but the teacher was like, "Who's the president? What do we want with him? If you don't tell me that's an indoctrination," first off, you're wrong. And secondly, that is same material, different font exactly right now.
I also think something in this is that the people that are pushing for this deal or pushing for the push for this to be signed could be the people that, you know, they see maybe 2 kids that are just like playing on a playground, like a boy and a girl, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, they'll make such a cute couple in a couple of years." I've seen it.
Right.
So what's the difference in that than what they're trying to ban here?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And another thing I want to say about that line specifically, because that is a very like revealing line, is that it's ironic because that's exactly what they want.
Yeah.
They want the reason they don't want like kids to be exposed to like ideas of like different orientations and different, and also this also goes for race. The reason they don't want them to be exposed by more ideas about race is so they internalize a norm of whiteness of heteronormativity. So they internalize that as like the basis, and then they learn all this other stuff as sort of superfluous to like what is like, that's how, that's the.
See, here's the thing. Fears of indoctrination and, for lack of a better word, brainwashing are valid things. Like you don't want people
All education
being,
is to an extent
yes,
indoctrination.
that's my thing. Like, yes, you don't want to send someone knowing like, oh, they're going to intentionally completely alter their way of thinking. This is not one of those things.
Yeah.
And believe me, you can say the very same thing about the political climate in college. If you think none of your professors are trying to push their beliefs onto their students, that's completely wrong.
Yeah, but the idea is,
but we're not going around and banning that.
Yeah. And when you're in college, you have the wherewithal to kind of see through that, right?
And you also have a formed opinion that probably is your own opinion that you formulated yourself. These kids probably, if they see this, if they see someone that's gay, they might say, oh, that's gross or something, when it's not, because they're not, because they cannot get the education of what it is and people that are. So
exactly.
Yeah.
And people that are like that, who will go on to identify it, will know.
Yeah.
Like they won't have the vocabulary to understand themselves and their feelings.
I saw something else. Someone said that if someone is, they're going to find out no matter what.
Yeah.
They'll get there eventually. It's just going to take a lot longer, and it's going to be a lot more painful process.
Yeah. Right. So this bill is awful.
It's not, I don't know the right word. It's not good, great, smart. I there's some word on the tip of my tongue that I can't think of. Practical. I think I'm thinking of practical.
Well, it's beyond that. It's just so it's so blatant. It's so brazen.
Yeah.
You know, it really feels like something that you'd see 20 years ago. It's not
they're not trying to hide anything here.
Yeah, it marks a regression in where we're kind of standing here.
And we've seen this a lot, like in terms of anti-gay bills, anti-trans bills.
Yes. No, it's really a full-scale assault on like LGBTQ rights.
It's weird because like it feels like obviously different states have had views leaning towards this for endless times, but like doing this full-scale assault, we're talking about like a new bill every week, it seems. I've never seen something like this before.
And this is the first time that I believe that something like this has been officially held in law, because
well, I mean, really, this is just maintaining the norm, right? Like this has always been the thing. This has always been the idea. Like they never said gay, but they're starting to now, and this is not happy about it. And so I don't know. It's fascism is happening. They're doing it, and I don't know. I'm not sure. I think the solution is to organize and to I don't know, criticize.
Yeah, definitely. But with that being said, we're going to head to a quick break, and when we come back, we will have more stories with you, interviews, Emily's segment, all that.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear.
Yeah.
Upper Montclair.
And welcome back to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. This is the Tuesday Morning Buzz. I'm your host, Kyle Pepitone, joined with the real co-host, Jacob Goetz, our newscaster, Aiden Ivan, sportscaster, Tanner Price, and segment host, Emily McCormack. Good morning, everybody.
Newscaster who?
Aiden Ivers?
You said Aiden Ivan.
I did not.
Wow.
Yes, you did. Aiden, did I say that?
I'm pretty sure you did, but it's okay.
It's okay. He was too focused on my name this time.
Aiden Ivan and Emily segment host.
It's okay, Kyle.
I don't think I've messed up Tanner's name yet.
Right? It'll happen eventually.
No,
I don't think so. Not yet, but
no. Didn't we give you another name when we?
He always says a different name.
We'll work on it.
So
we'll
Aiden Ivan, Music McCormack, Jared instead of Jake. Why am I Isaiah? Why? I think I asked this last week. Why am I still host? Anyway. Welcome back. We have some more stories for you today, and then we'll go into the interview. Tunes on Tuesday. You know the drill by this point. Anyway, our next story is from USA Today about the tragic car crash in Pennsylvania. At least 3 people were killed on a Pennsylvania highway Monday after a fiery collision involving more than 50 vehicles during a snow squall. Schuylkill County coroner Dr. David J. Moreland warned Monday afternoon that the death toll could run higher because of the search scene hasn't yet been completed because of the burning vehicles. The fiery crash occurred on Interstate 81 at about 10:30 a.m. near Minersville, about 100 miles northwest of Philadelphia. At least 20 people were sent to hospitals with injuries. Footage uploaded to social media showed an out-of-control tractor-trailer smash into a large dump truck, turning it nearly 180 degrees. Another large truck spewed black smoke and orange flames into the air, and an SUV struck a passenger car, sending the sedan spinning, narrowly missing its driver, who stood on the shoulder of the highway, shrouded in snow and fog. The collision closed all lanes of I-81 north to Schuylkill County, and highway message boards were redirecting traffic. Pennsylvania State Police are investigating the crash, and numerous local EMS, fire, and police agencies are responding to the scene.
Have y'all seen the video of this?
I have not, but it
looks like
Isaiah's about to provide it for us.
This is not the one I saw, but it's terrifying.
My goodness.
I feel like this one doesn't even capture it that much.
No. But like that from the dash cam that we just saw, that person did not slow down.
Yeah.
Or probably even couldn't
see anything because it was so like windy and like there was so much snow.
You couldn't see, and because of the snow, you probably couldn't even slow down if you tried.
No, yeah.
If it's like all ice, that car would have just planed.
No, it's absolutely terrifying. I saw another angle of it where you could you could see like the initial collision between the 2 trucks.
Is it this one?
No, not that one. That one looks like it took place after.
Yeah, but still, that's
oh my gosh,
that is
horrifying. It's terrifying. And like, I don't know, I make a lot of jokes about how cars are bad, but like it really does like show just how dangerous. Like we always vaguely know that like getting in a car is like to some extent dangerous, but you don't really think about like how dangerous you're talking about. Like
I have had multiple times where I've been close to either getting in an accident or causing an accident. Thank God I've never been in one, but I've been close multiple times. And afterwards, there was one time over the summer. It's a long story, and I would have to do a visual of it, so I can't really describe it on air. But it was the night of my graduation, and it was. Me and my friend almost got in like a really bad accident. So, and twice actually by the same car.
Oh no.
So, yeah. So after that, I didn't want to drive for a solid like week and a half.
That's fair.
So,
yeah. My 6th grade social studies teacher and this has stuck with me for many years. He called cars literally 2,000-pound bullets.
Yeah, that's what they are.
So. Yeah, this is and he was talking about cars. This crash involved trucks,
Yeah, like
trailers,
multiple trucks.
dump trucks.
Yeah.
So like take that 2,000 pounds, at least triple it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I guess this could be a story about what you should do before getting on the highway. Like pay attention to the weather forecast. And if it says like something big is coming, you probably shouldn't be on the road during that time.
Well, it says here it's a snow squall, and we know it's usually
like
they're
sudden.
not known that they're happening until about 15 or so minutes before it happens, and you can't really prepare for it because it's so sudden and so quick. So
here's cars are dangerous, Jake, as you've said, but in like extreme conditions like this, they're even worse.
Yeah.
And the problem was this took place on a highway.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, people aren't very smart.
Mm-hmm.
So rain, snow, shine, whatever, people will still be going 80 down a highway.
Yep.
And that's something to pay attention to.
Yes.
Maybe don't be in such a rush if it's a sudden snowstorm. Because like we saw in that video, if you can't see anything, you don't know what's in front of you. And if you need to brake really fast, even if you can or can't, you don't want to be flying at 80.
Even in any conditions, if you have to brake really fast going 80, you're gonna have to stall out.
So maybe
not stall out a bit, but you're not gonna.
It's not gonna be an immediate stop.
Yeah.
It's just really scary.
Yeah,
it is.
What could happen?
Yeah,
just gotta be careful. It's number one thing you should have on your mind when you're driving.
Yeah,
just being careful.
Unfortunately, that's not the case for a lot of people.
No.
Jake, you want to take the next one?
I suppose I could. Parents are rallying around a bill that would make classes start no earlier than 8:30 a.m. Many students in the Montclair area wake up around 7 a.m. to get ready for school. Then around 8 a.m., they get in the car or bus and arrive at school a little before 8:30 a.m. But that is mainly for K through 8 grades of students, because when entering high school, the start time for classes is no longer 8:30. Instead, it is 8 a.m., which has many parents in the area frustrated. Local parents hope the legislature advances a new bill that would delay start times in high schools to 8:30 a.m. A bill its supporters say is a response to the teen mental health crisis experts say was aggravated during the pandemic. The plan, sponsored by Assembly Speaker Craig Coughlin and Senator Vin Gopal, would take effect at the start of the 2024-25 school year. Coughlin said in a statement, quote, "When students are well rested and eat nutritious meals, they're better prepared to succeed in school. Overwhelmingly, the research and success stories out of other states' school districts show that the benefits of later start times to students' holistic well-being in terms of both mental and academic performance easily outweighs the cost." The lawmakers cited a 2017 study linking sleep and mental health that found teens attending school earlier in the morning are at higher risk of depression and anxiety.
Yeah, this is it's good that they're finally focusing on student and teenage mental health in schools, because it's a problem that a lot of people deal with. So it's good that a school district is finally paying attention to that and having that the number one focus of their students, because that's what kids go to school for. They go to learn, and they also go to maybe see friends or something, and maybe escape if they have a tough life at home.
Right.
But yeah, it's good to see that they're finally pushing for mental health awareness in high schools.
Yeah. And sorry, just to play devil's advocate here, it's not entirely on the schools. Like, yeah, kids who attend schools early in the morning are at higher risk. That's what the study shows. But kids also need to get actual sleep.
Yeah.
And when it comes to high schoolers, getting up at 1, going to sleep at 1, the earliest to get up their school at 8 is not helping the cause.
No, another thing here is that they talk about kind of playing devil's advocate as well, they talk about that the kids get they have more time in the morning and they have a better nutritious diet. I know if this happened, usually I would wake up a half hour before school because I was able to get ready quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I would just delay it another half hour. I wouldn't wake up at the same time.
Yeah,
So
I feel like that's what a lot of things.
It might be what some students do.
It's a student by student basis.
Yeah.
Of what they do.
But I think having it a bit later, if that's what it's typically best for the student that will take advantage and will take care.
Right.
I think that's what matters.
Very
it's about who's it's about creating something that students can apply themselves to in the most healthy way if they if they want to, and maybe they aren't in a place to do that, because I know I certainly wasn't in high school.
Well, here's another thing, just logistically. I know when I was in school, a lot of the schools use the same bus system.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you couldn't have every school start at the same time.
Yeah.
Because you can't be in all the places at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was like the elementary school started, 8:30. The middle school started at 8, so they can do the bus routes or something like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like maybe that's part of the reason why the high schools start earlier than the other schools, because just logistically they can't all start at the same time.
Yeah,
and have buses.
Although in my town, at least, all the schools got out at the same time or around the same time. So
yeah, that didn't happen for me.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in 6th grade,
maybe like a 10-minute difference, but still.
I remember I got out of school when I got out of school in like 6th grade. It was always like 3:30 by the time I got home. And my sister's like, yeah, I've been home since like 2:00 when she was in elementary school. I'm like, okay. I didn't like that. That was my least favorite year of school.
Well, for my high school, there was a bus stop and a train station connected around the property. So there were many forms of transportation for students to come in and leave every day. So my classes started at 8:15. That's when homeroom was. That's when you had to be in homeroom by. And then I think 8:30. Same with me. Like, this was last year in New York. I guess they have different rules now, but usually in New York it's 2:30. I think 2:30, 3:00. That's the time where traffic is the worst throughout the week.
Oh yeah. Don't even get me started on rush hour. There's this one road by my town, in my town. Depending on what time you go, you're not moving. It is literally like a 1-lane road that connects to, the rest of the town.
Okay. All right.
And it just
I was lucky enough that the high school and middle school were right by my house. So it was maybe a 20-minute walk, but I would only walk home. I would always have a ride there. So
yeah, nice. But I feel like, honestly, like, the thing about like waking up super early for school is just kind of a weird aesthetic.
I like it.
I no.
Like, I think I like it.
Death glare.
Because I'm literally looking at this, thinking about all those days waking up that early. Like, some days getting physically sick at the thought of it, and then actually getting up that early was horrible.
I think there's something to it, but there's just no reason to go that hard with it. There's
That's
no
fair.
reason to make students.
But where's my
up.
5 a.m. crew at?
No,
Anyway,
not
okay.
I'm someone
Go to break. Go to break. WMSC Upper Montclair. This is the Tuesday Morning Buzz. And this is all you're going to hear from me for a few minutes, because right now we have an interview that Isaiah did with Nagla Bedir, founder of Teaching While Muslim. We have that.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Morning Buzz here on WMSC 90.3 Upper Montclair. And we have a very special guest here. We got Nagla Bedir representing Teaching While Muslim, and I'm very excited to have her on the show. Thank you for coming on.
Having me. Thank you so much for having me.
Just jumping right into things, you are the founder and executive director of Teaching While Muslim. And I was wondering you could explain to me what exactly your company's about or organization's about.
Absolutely. So it was a company / organization. So Teaching While Muslim serves three purposes. So the first is really to create a space for Muslim parents, students, and teachers in public schools to kind of express and talk about their experiences in public schools, because there is not really a curated space for that, or at least there wasn't, especially when I first started this in 2018. So it's really a space for us by us kind of thing, which is the first purpose. The second purpose of Teaching While Muslim is also to help rid schools of their racism, of their Islamophobia, and help center educators, curricula, and schools to be anti-racist, social justice oriented, and anti-Islamophobic. And the way that we do that is through offering a variety of workshops for educators in a variety of spaces, and then also working with teachers online and in person to help them kind of like sift through not only their curricula, but their practices and their policies within their schools to identify how their schools are actually perpetuating Islamophobia, and all the other isms, and then ways to actually combat that. And the last way that Teaching While Muslim exists, and this hasn't jump started yet, but we're working on it, is to create like a network for Muslim educators, a space, for us as educators who are in public schools, who have to deal with the microaggressions or the direct Islamophobia from not only our coworkers, but parents, students, administrators, etc., and kind of ways that we could go about dealing with that.
100%, that's really cool. And I'm interested to know, like, what is the day-to-day, actions that you do being part of that?
So I'm actually like a full-time social studies teacher at a high school in New Jersey. And so my day-to-day with Teaching While Muslim really varies. So right now we are working, like Ramadan is about like less than a week away. And obviously, for those of you who don't know, Ramadan is a pretty big deal for Muslims. And there are plenty of Muslim students and teachers who are going to be in public schools who are going to be fasting or observing, the different aspects of Ramadan. And so right now, the day-to-day consists of us preparing the content that we created, which includes like lesson plans, it includes like resources for not only educators, but also for parents who have to kind of interact, with their schools around how the schools are dealing with their students who are going to be fasting. So we create, the day-to-day right now consists of us like creating those lesson plans, sending them out, creating the social media stuff that we need, and then sending it all out to everybody.
Cool. And I'm interested to know, you started this organization in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you mentioned you are a full-time teacher as well. So could you say like some of your proudest moments during that time period for you?
Wow, so that's a great question. I've never been asked that before about Teaching While Muslim. I think it would have to just be, so actually, one of the coolest and proudest moments had to be when one of my former students from when I was student teaching 10 years ago, that former student actually went to the Graduate School of Education at Rutgers, New Brunswick, which is the same graduate school that I graduated from. And in her class, her professor pulled up the Teaching While Muslim website as a resource for those students. So it was like a super full circle moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Because she screenshotted that and sent it to me, and it was like really, that was one of the coolest and I think proudest moments of it, that like, my former professors are finding Teaching While Muslim a great resource for their students. And then those students actually also ended up being some of my former students. So it was just that was a really proud moment, I would say.
That's an awesome moment. I'm sure you were kind of like tripped out at first. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm on to something here. So you mentioned this earlier, and it's definitely something that needs to be talked about more. So like growing up, I'm still in my 20s, you know, but I've grown up through that time. And I noticed like how media represents Muslim community. It's almost like they've gone out of their way to dehumanize them in a sense. And then it's kind of disgusting to see how that has been represented. So, you know, now that we're in 2022, I think you're starting to like see a shift, and people are starting to understand a little bit more that these people aren't bad people at all. In fact, they're just like me and you. They are normal people, and they're very proud to be who they are, and they're very loving and caring and all that kind of stuff. So I'm wondering, how do you think that narrative has changed at all since like the time you've been alive, or do you think there's still a lot more room for improvement?
Yeah, so I was gonna say, I think that's an interesting like perception, right? The perception that it has shifted, because I would argue that it has not. And really the thing that we could look at in most recent times is just like the narrative around refugees who are Muslim. If we're looking at the Ukraine and Russia war/conflict and the literal like differences and blatant differences, and not just like in the way that the Ukrainian refugees were reported on, but literally you have journalists on television saying these are not, these Ukrainian refugees are Christian. They are not from the Middle East. They are blonde hair, blue eyed, right? So it's a narrative that is very much still present, and very much still permeates, I think, all aspects of our media. And yes, there have been like significantly more representations, right, of Muslims in the media, in, like a show like Rami, or, even in different like ads and stuff. Like you definitely see like more visibly Muslim women, for example, in these places. And there's like more maybe of a normalized sense of the existence of Muslims. But the deep-rooted Islamophobia and really anti-Muslim racism, and it traces back to like Orientalism, is very much still present in our world, and in the media as well. So I would caution to like say that like we're in this like post-Islamophobic era, because I would argue that we're not. I would argue that it's shape-shifting maybe, and that we still haven't, as a society, kind of actually interrogated the presence of anti-Muslim racism and racism in general, right? Like, so this is actually this is not specific to Muslims. This is the othering of people that really all roots back to white supremacy. And as long as white supremacy still exists, so will all of these other, phobia/racism/ et cetera. And so, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't say like that it's actually gotten that much better.
Yeah, I would say it's like a very early intro, I guess, into that world. So going on to my next question here is that you mentioned this earlier as well, that Ramadan is coming up. So could you like tell us what that's about and what you guys do during that time?
And by you guys, I'm sorry to clarify, do you mean like teaching on Muslim, or do you mean Muslim people?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ramadan is coming, which is very exciting, because Ramadan is a month. It's a very, very holy, special month for Muslims in general. It is where we fast, which means abstaining from eating or drinking anything, yes, even water, from dawn to dusk every day for 30 days. And there are exceptions to that. There are people who are like ill, for example, or elderly, or breastfeeding, for example, who like have other options in a way to worship God, because that's really the whole point of the month. Is fasting is a form of worship. It is a way for us to kind of put all our worldly desires and needs to the side, and just like focus on a relationship with God, and really focus on your spirituality. So as Muslims, the Teaching While Muslim team is proudly comprised of all Muslims at this moment. And so all of us will be observing Ramadan in a variety of ways personally. And then in terms of us as an organization, we are hosting a workshop on April 3rd at 2 p.m., a virtual workshop for any parent or educator who would like to like just ask questions, but also like understand more of the resources that we're putting out for them to actually, be able to implement them in their schools, or to help their kids navigate them. And then the other thing we're doing as Teaching While Muslim for Ramadan this year is asking any Muslim person from literally any age, like pre-K through, our old age here in our 20s and 30s, to send us like little videos telling us what like Ramadan actually means to them. And then we're gonna, put those videos together to also help people who are not Muslim understand the significance, but also the range of significance, right? Between not only age groups, but, there are Muslims who like cannot fast, but they increase their reading of Quran or their prayer, or like there's just so many different experiences for people of all ages. And if we provide those understandings for people, then I think more people would just like to have access, right? Like to that understanding, like what the personal experience actually is, what the human experience actually is for everybody. And then we created lesson plans that are the last thing that we're doing is we created lesson plans for elementary school, for middle school, and for high school teachers that have, all the things that teachers need to carry out a lesson, that we just posted on our website and we sent out as well. So those are all ways that we're trying to help prep everybody for Ramadan.
So growing up as well, holidays were obviously celebrated throughout the years. And then they say, at least when I started school and throughout school, probably middle school is always, you celebrate Christmas, you celebrate all these other ones, but they never really focused on like Muslim holidays. And then now it's just, everything's just holidays and there's no specific ones. Do you think schools are doing like a good enough job of equally representing all cultures' holidays?
So absolutely not. Like our school calendar is still centered around Christian holidays, right? Like we have quote unquote winter break, but it's actually Christian break. We have quote unquote spring break, but it's actually Easter break, right? And while obviously as any educator is going to be extremely grateful for any break that we get from the madness that is the school year at the moment, it is still very much centered, right, around Christian holidays. And there are some districts, right, like that take off for Jewish holidays. New York City, for example, actually also takes off like for Eid. So Ramadan itself, like the month of Ramadan is not, we don't consider it a holiday. The holiday is actually at the very end of Ramadan, which is called Eid al-Fitr. And it is actually a 3-day holiday, but, obviously because of the nature of the country that we live in, then most people just celebrate it in one day. And so New York City, for example, actually does have Eid off for everyone, and there are very few, but there are districts in New Jersey who also have Eid off. So in that way, like there are some districts that are doing a good job kind of like of even acknowledging the existence of the holidays for Muslims, but even in terms of celebrations, like what that actually looks like in individual classroom extremely varies and is almost always not very present. So like in my experience growing up, there was never, ever a teacher that like celebrated it or like made a big deal about it in any of my classes, even though obviously like me as a Muslim student in their classes existed. But I also was not a visibly Muslim girl like when I was growing up. Now I'm visibly Muslim, but I was not always actually. I didn't start wearing hijab until like I almost graduated college. And then even now as a teacher, I teach in a high school. And there are like there are teachers who will do something special for like different holidays. And like, well, we had like a whole month, a spirit month, we called it, in December, and it was really almost all Christmas themed. And while like, that is to be understood in a district that is predominantly Christian, there is probably like, there are schools that maybe have administrators and teachers who acknowledge it for their students or create spaces, for example, during lunch when students are fasting, that give, students spaces to leave the cafeteria and not have to sit there with their peers who are eating or drinking those days. So there are schools that do those kinds of things, but there's definitely like not a widespread culture of celebrating or observing or like understanding Ramadan or celebrating Eid. But hopefully, like, we're trying to shift that, right? Like that's the whole point of teaching a Muslim, is to shift that and providing the resources for people to be able to do that.
100%. And I'm interested to know, So obviously, as media continues to evolve, you're starting to hear voices and movies and all these other things from different perspectives. And I'm curious to know, are there any Muslim artists or actors or singers that we should look out for?
So actors, singers, or what was the third category? I'm sorry.
Anything, just
anything.
authors.
So yeah, absolutely. There are many, like, the show Rami is an interesting, I think, take on a very real, like, first person experience of what it's like to be like a Muslim in New Jersey. But there are many famous actors that I'm blanking on right now, and I'm gonna see if I can think of some of their names, who are Muslim and who are very open about their Islam. And there are artists like Lupe Fiasco who are Muslim, who have always existed and who represent their religion out there, but also people like Bella Hadid, and even like DJ Khaled, right? Like, these people are Muslim and might not necessarily center their Islam and their work, but another person that has made a lot of waves, I would say, in the media world is Hassan Minhaj. He's done a really awesome job of also, he's a comedian, but he's done a really awesome job of centering the Muslim experience in his comedy. Then people like Riz Ahmed or Ahmad. I don't know how people in English pronounce some of the names. I always say it like in the Arabic pronunciation, which would be Ahmed. So yeah, there's a ton. There are so many. There are also really up and coming, I would say, singers. There's this one, oh my God, I'm blanking on her name, but she has such a beautiful voice. And of course I'm blanking on her name. She's a Moroccan young girl. She actually has a song with John Legend.
Wow.
Yeah, called Minefields. I'm blanking on her name, but that is the name of the song, and she sings it with John Legend. So I would check her out too.
Okay. Lastly, before we let you go, is where do you see Teaching Well Muslim 10 years from now?
Oh, so I have so many dreams and so many ways that I want to grow Teaching Well Muslim. So in 10 years, I see Teaching Well Muslim as being a fundamental part of the pre-teaching experiences for future educators, right? So literally in universities, collaborating with universities across the country to help them fix and shape their pre-service programs for educators to include ways that schools and curricula perpetuate Islamophobia and ways to combat that. So I see, Teaching Well Muslim as consulting with a variety of universities, but I also see Teaching Well Muslim chapters existing in all 50 states in 10 years, in which educators who are Muslim in those states get to have that kind of space for themselves, to decompress, but also figure out how to maneuver their identities in their jobs. And in 10 years, I also see us having an office and a full staff and some basic things that would make Teaching Well Muslim grow so much more. That right now, I have a really solid but really small team right now, but we, hopefully in 10 years will be a whole staff, right? That's the dream.
Well, I hope the dream comes true, because I think it's a very special thing that everyone should know about. And we cannot thank you enough for coming on the show. And to you guys in the studio, take it away.
I remember being so shocked that his tattoo of the Apple logo on his face was real.
Talking about ads on sports tees or sports jerseys. Now he's talking about ads on people's face. And welcome back to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. This is the Tuesday Morning Buzz. I'm your host, Cobb Pepitone, joined with my co-host, Jake Goetz, newscaster, Aiden Ivers, good morning, sportscaster, Tanner Price, and segment host, Emily McCormack. Huh? How'd I do?
You
Better than the first hour.
We're not on.
What?
You finally got it.
I would have if I remembered to turn your mics on.
So you failed.
Yep, as always. Murphy's Law, something can't go wrong. Or Isaiah requests you to slap me again.
Go for it.
Okay.
Please don't. Please don't.
Oh
no,
sell it.
happening. He's
Sell it. Come on, we're putting on a show here.
Keep
Lame.
your wife's name. Oh wait.
All right. Anyway, welcome back. Aiden, you want to take us away with the newscast?
Sure thing, Kyle.
Thank you.
In national news, according to CNN, tragedy struck Dollywood this past week as a young boy suffered a fatal accident from an Orlando freefall tower attraction, causing the attraction to temporarily close. In statewide news, according to NJ.com, a 28-year-old Parkland man was arrested by NJ Port Authority after using, quote, a blackout curtain that covered the rear license plate, end of quote, of his car before entering a cashless toll. And on local news, according to Montclair Local, the Township of Montclair met yesterday to discuss potential plans for a voter referendum centered around the control of rent in spaces across the town. And for weather, as I'd mentioned in the first hour, this first half of the week is looking like Emily's week with how cold it is. And we have something to look forward to. You know, we got WrestleMania this weekend, and we are 9 days away from MLB opening day. 9 days away before the Yankees crush the Red Sox in Bronx and whatever events they're doing as well. So today we will have a high of 40 degrees with sunny skies and a low 25, followed by a high of 44 and a low 39 on a cloudy Wednesday. Thursday, out of nowhere, high of 71, low 52, but 50% chance of rain with possible thunderstorms along with that, which sounds cool in all honesty. Come on, who doesn't love a good thunderstorm? On Friday, April Fool's Day, we'll share a great laugh with a high of 54 and a low 35 with a cloudy sunny sky. And for the weekend on Saturday, we're looking at a high of 56 and a low of 38 with mostly sunny skies. And Sunday, a high of 53 and a low 37 with cloudy skies. This has been your Hour 2 newscast here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Back to you, Kyle.
Thank you, Aiden. And Tanner, right into the sportscast. What's going on in sports?
Yesterday, the Ottawa Senators announced that team owner Eugene Melnyk has passed away at the age of 62. The team said in a statement that he passed from an illness he faced with determination and courage. Melnyk bought the team in 2003 and has remained owner since then. The big Metropolitan Division matchup takes place tonight in the Burgh as the Rangers take on the Pittsburgh Penguins. This game is crucial for the Rangers as they could leapfrog Pittsburgh with a regulation win to take sole possession of second place in the Metro, with only a few games remaining. The Islanders start a home-and-home tonight with a bout against the Columbus Blue Jackets. There was rare good news for Detroit Lions fans yesterday as they learned the 2024 NFL Draft will be held in Detroit. Dan Campbell's Lions will also be featured on HBO's Hard Knocks, which is an inside look into NFL training camp. A day after signing with the team he spent his best years with, soon-to-be Hall of Famer Albert Pujols has announced he will retire after this season. Pujols is 21 home runs away from 700, so time is ticking for the machine. The Yankees continued spring training yesterday with an 11-7 win over the Detroit Tigers. The Yankees take on the Phillies today as we inch ever so closer to opening day. The Mets were off yesterday, but will meet with the Marlins today. It is the first spring training outing for newly acquired starter Chris Bassett, as he tries to earn his spot as the Mets' third starter. The Knicks pulled off a surprising win over the Chicago Bulls yesterday, with the final being 109-104. Forward R.J. Barrett and guard Alec Burks nearly put up the same stat line with 3 assists and 6 rebounds each, with Burks scoring 27 points and Barrett scoring 1 point more at 28. The lowly Pistons are in Brooklyn tonight as Kyrie Irving looks for his first home win since the vaccine mandate was lifted for athletes in New York. Kyle, back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And we are not going to take up any more of Emily's time. Emily, please tell us what can
Wait, I want a bit of it. Okay.
What's going on,
Fair
Tunes
enough.
on Tuesday?
Hello. So today's Tunes on Tuesdays episode features Italian alternative metal band Violet Blend's vocalist Giada Celescelli and drummer Michelle Agostini, interviewed by Heavy as the Crown hosts Vector Lynn and Nicole. Violet Blend's Giada and Michelle talks about their upcoming second album, Demons, which releases this Friday, April 1st. They speak about the continuation of themes from their first album, White Mask, as well as the similarities and differences between the two. They talk about the symbolism behind the album art and its connections to each of the 13 tracks, and the two share the influences behind their music, citing that feelings of rage and pain motivate them the most, and they speak about how Italy's strict quarantine regulations during the early pandemic affected the music making and recording process. They talk about who their favorite artists to play with live are, and their weirdest moments while doing live shows. Both Giada and Michelle are music teachers, and they talk about the differences between being a musician and a music instructor. New music from Violet Blend, Motionless in White, Milky Chance, The Happy Fits, Muse, Missio, Shadow Academy, The Score, C+, Egypt Central, Solence, Wallows, and more. On Tunes on Tuesday, which airs at 2 and 5 p.m. You can listen in for new music and good vibes.
Whoa.
Yes.
That's a lot.
Exciting stuff.
Very exciting. I know what they talked about in the interview. I'm the one who edited it for Vector and Nicole.
Yes.
They
we are their digital marketing.
Yes. If you don't know, me and Emo are part of the digital marketing team for Heavy as the Crown. We run everything off air for Vector and Nicole. I don't like them though.
No, they're annoying.
Very annoying.
But a great
I don't like
interview.
him either.
Yeah. You know what he did?
What did he do?
He just refused to send me the files from this week's episode to edit for them.
Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
That's so annoying.
I have no video for them.
That's a little lame.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
hopefully that'll work out.
Yeah,
But
I mean, we got the interview for them and they haven't said thank you.
no, but we don't expect it anymore.
No.
But besides our personal feelings about Vector and Nicole, this was a really great interview, in my opinion.
Yeah. You heard it too, right? Well, obviously you listened to it.
Yeah. I rate the segment, Kyle.
I forgot.
Anyway, Violet Blend, pretty epic.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to everyone hearing the interview and hearing some of their tunes on Tuesday. Please move on.
2. Oh wait, that was
2.
a month ago.
What's your
Anyway, should I move to the discussion topic?
if you want?
I'm gonna move to the discussion topic.
Okay,
so,
do it.
Violet Blend, they talk about what went into their album artwork. Do you guys have any favorite album or single cover art?
Yes.
do tell.
Don't all answer at once.
Sick and Twisted Affair by My Darkest Days.
Fair enough.
I think mine is News of the World by Queen. It's one of the best album covers of all time.
Valid opinion.
Because
Validated
I
by
had
Kyle.
I did an art project for it in my art class.
Oh, nice.
It didn't end well, but
You're fine. Jake, what about you?
Oh man, there's so many. I'll always love this is a basic boy answer. I'll always love American Idiot. Just the heart hand grenade.
Nice.
It's just so cool.
All very respectable opinions.
Yeah, also the Hoteliers, Home Like No Place There Is just really pretty. I just like that album. Sometimes that's a funny thing. It's like, do I love this cover or do I just love this album? And like I associate the cover art with the album.
Both for sure. Twisted Affair.
And yeah. The only thing I will say is, Isaiah, you're wrong. Sour is not a good artwork.
I think it's all right.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
It's okay. We recreated it in the office with zero budget.
That was a beautiful photo. Kyle, do you have an answer?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I did an hour-long episode of this on King's Chaos talking about album covers.
Do tell.
I'm not going to recount the entire episode.
Then don't tell.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot
Just
of...
get out a transcript and we just spend
And playing the role of Mike will be Emily. Emily, here's your transcript.
Oh, the only thing I could think of him saying can't be said on air. Continue.
I don't know. There's a whole list of criteria for me. What I do every year is I've made like mosaic pictures of like 300 plus albums that I thought were good. And then just overlay them onto another picture, like a mosaic. I don't know if any of you have seen those.
Kind of like, what do you mean by that?
Have you ever seen like things like school would do where they take all the student photos and they blend it in such a way that they make up the logo of the school?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, something like that, but with albums. And it's a tedious process because it's like, what albums do I love? What albums look cool? I will say I'm a sucker for any album that is just the picture of an eye. So like White Rabbit by Egypt Central, Ember by Breaking Benjamin.
Yep. That's a good one.
The rest are not coming to me. I have a whole playlist for it. But things like that, like a primarily white or black album too, will get me. So like, I don't know how to explain that one.
I think like most of the design is like monocolor. You're saying, right?
Monochromatic, something like that.
We're different. I like if it has like more color and like it is more color and more shapes, because I was gonna say one of my favorites is The Color and the Shape by the Foo Fighters. Rest in peace, Taylor Hawkins.
Right.
But it's one of the best albums to ever be released.
That's
and it has a great album cover. There's no real you don't really know what it is. It's just a blue background and a bunch of shapes. And it just says Foo Fighters on it, but it's still a really good album and a really good album cover.
So like the Monsters Inc. intro, basically.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
I like kind of in between that. One of my favorite album covers is The Darker the Weather, the Better the Man by Missio. And it's pretty much black and white, but then it has like gold accents.
Yeah.
And
see, like something like that is what I mean. Like, that's a really cool album cover.
And then they made they have a remix album where they remix the cover as well, and it's basically
almost inverted, right?
But like they didn't just put a filter on it, like they actually did it, so it looks a lot better in my opinion. And it's been my screensaver for years, and I just have it every 5 seconds. It switches between the two, and it's perfectly matched up, and it's one of my favorite things. And even years later, I could just kind of stare at it for a while and just find new things about it, because it's like blends of faces and hands and like kind of like watercolor. I don't know, it's really interesting.
I will say something I do not like, album covers I do not like immediately, is where it's just like the artist face, because you had the opportunity to do something creative and you didn't.
I disagree with that, Kyle.
Sometimes
really,
I think it could work.
Sometimes, but a lot of the times, especially in mainstream music, I get it's for marketing, but it's like artist face. There you go.
Are you talking about like just that, no other editing?
Yes. The number one that comes to mind is Ariana Grande.
Well,
oh wait, hold up. This is a terrible take. Ariana Grande's so it is her face, but like wait, yeah, we had this discussion before and you got roasted.
I know, and I'm prepared to do it again because I will die on this hill.
No, they're all good though. That's the thing.
I'm
not an Ariana Grande stan, just to be clear, but like they're all like good pictures.
They can be great pictures. I'm just saying they're not, for in terms of what album covers can be, they lack some sort of creativity in exchange for marketability.
No, I think it fits the vibe pretty well.
Yeah, but
that's because it's pop music, and pop music is highly commercialized.
Well, but yeah, if I see just some artwork, you don't see Ariana Grande, you just be like, oh, what album is this? But you see her and someone be like, oh, it's a new Ariana Grande.
Well,
album.
actually,
I'm gonna buy it.
I don't know. It's also Ariana Grande, so you probably would recognize it pretty quick, regardless of what it was.
True, but I don't know. All her albums is just her face.
It's not like just her face. There's like so much. Like
you're right. In one of them, they rotated the picture 180 degrees.
Yeah, but like that's a creative choice. and like also the outfit and like the actual picture.
I know there's. I'm saying I'm not saying
you're a portrait photographer, so you just take pictures of people.
That's not what I'm
so
saying.
Boring. You're so uncreative. Why don't you do something interesting, dude? Wow, you do realize there are like other things other than people, right? Like there are toasters, there are like paper towels.
Wait,
you could take a picture of so many
hold
things.
up. There actually is an album cover of a toaster. It's from I think a German metal band called We Butter the Bread with Butter.
That's pretty sick.
Watch you just see on like Friday, new album by Ariana Grande, and it's just a toaster.
No.
Oh wow! Actually, funny thing about this toaster album, it's actually ugly as hell. Oh wait, sorry.
You're good.
My bad. But yeah, no, the toaster album is very ugly. It's just called Das Album. So
my goodness,
and like the toaster is like the same color as the background.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Why did I think there was much more contrast to that album?
Well,
no, this is cool.
This is
a cool album though. It is another one.
Same band?
Yeah.
I found that this doesn't even look like good toast.
Yeah, no, I was also gonna say that the toast looks really
it's not even toasted.
Like, no amount of butter is gonna save this toast.
Look,
toasted.
It's not even toasted.
We got toast on deck.
It's an album that's supposed to be about toast, I guess. Toast isn't toasted.
I'm not sure their music revolves entirely around toast.
That's little lame.
Just the band name.
Well,
so they're not like Mac Sabbath.
I forgot about Mac Sabbath. Okay, I'm gonna fuel this fire between me and Jake even more because I want to say two of my favorite album covers are Ice Nine Kills, the Silver Scream 1 and 2.
You know what? Listen, you know what my favorite album art is?
What?
Donda.
No.
Is that just the
black screen?
Metallica did it first.
Yeah, they had a cool snake on there.
Know what I do kind of like? I like double albums where like the two artworks go together.
Yeah.
So like Use Your Illusion kind of. They're just palette swaps, but I like them. Uno Dos Tres from Green Day.
Oh yeah.
Prayers for the Blessed and Word I Can't Say by 6 a.m. Citizen Soldiers, This Is Your Sign Part 1 and 2. Soon. So close, I think. They haven't actually announced the second part yet.
Wait, are you done?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I just realized that one of my favorite artists in like 6th grade was Justin Timberlake. I had a huge Justin Timberlake fan, and I just realized that he did the exact same thing as Missio for the 2020 experience, where so the album, it's basically 2 albums that he ended up combining, where he had album artwork where it was black and white, and then he did another one where it was black and white and gold and like inverted.
I see it.
I forgot that he
did
that.
That kind of 2020.
Yeah.
If I could add one more.
I loved that album.
There's I don't know if any of you seen the show on HBO Peacemaker. I don't know if anyone's ever seen it. The song from the intro might have the best album cover. It's a electric guitar on monster truck wheels.
All right.
Excuse me, what?
Cool.
That's
what is the song called?
The song is called Do You Want to Taste It by Wigwam. And another one, it's what
that very much is a guitar on monster wheels.
My dad has a lot of you were talking earlier with like both sides.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best is Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen.
Yes,
because it has
different than what I was saying, but I 100% understand what you're saying.
Yeah, there's a poster in my family's garage where it's like the whole album cover.
Really?
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah.
Funky.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, we can go all day talking about this, and I would love nothing more to, but we have to get back into news. I'm sorry, Emily. Thank you, though.
You're so welcome.
And moving on. Y'all like subscriptions, right?
No.
Yeah.
This is digital feudalism.
Thank you. I'm glad somebody agrees with me. Anyway, according to nypost.com, you can get a subscription for your iPhone. The service would allow fans, first off, the fact that they're calling Apple users fans, I don't like. The service would allow customers to pay a monthly fee to get the latest Apple gadgets as and when they are released. It could launch in late 2022 and early 2023. Apple already runs a monthly payment plan for gadgets, including iPhones and iPads, where customers pay a set price over a set number of months, usually 12 to 24. According to Bloomberg, the new service would be different in that it wouldn't simply cover the cost of the device divided by 12 to 24 months. Instead, members would pay the still undecided monthly cost that may come with an option to upgrade the new hardware as it's released. Currently, Apple's monthly plans do not roll over into new devices as they are launched. Bloomberg said the change would, quote, make device ownership similar to paying a monthly app fee, end quote. Like Apple's other subscriptions, it would be tied to a user's existing Apple ID account. It's possible that customers will have the option to bundle in Apple Care or Apple One services too.
Now, Kyle, you said you don't like how they use the word fans to describe Apple. Well, if you think about it, people have been doing that for years where there's a new Apple product. They line around the whole block waiting for it to come out.
Oh, I know. Fans is scarily accurate, and I don't like it.
So I don't think...
Honestly, do those people even exist anymore? I feel like most of the lines that you see for the Apple products are just people trying to sell them.
Well, all the lines are virtual nowadays, pretty much.
That's
true too. Yeah, you gotta make an appointment.
But like, what happened to flat fees? Why can I not just pay one thing and have it be done? And I'm not talking about this. I understand it as it is. I don't understand this new thing. I understand, oh, okay, a phone is expensive. Let me divvy up the payment so it's not a handful of cash right up front.
Wait, but that's not what this is, right?
But I'm talking about apps and stuff. I don't know if any of you have ever seen this now. There's no more flat fees when it comes to in-game purchases for apps.
Of course not.
Okay, I mean, in-game purchases, don't do them. That's
obviously
all I have to,
obviously.
Like if you play video games and you pay, like for like in-game currency, that's don't do it. Actually, I recommend that you don't do it, but
microtransactions is a whole nother issue. Yeah. But if you've ever looked at an app nowadays, usually back in when the App Store was first launched, when the iPhone first came out, it used to be, pay X amount of dollars for no ads. Now it's pay X amount of dollars per month for no ads. It's ridiculously stupid. Like, I understand you need money. That's kind of cool. Money makes the world go round. Your opinion on that may vary, but that's the truth. But it's a phone app.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be playing you in a month.
Kyle, what it needs to come down to is, do you want the builders in Clash of Clans to be fast or not? Okay. If you want to be fast, you got to pay for it. You got to pay.
But that's different because it was, no. But then we're also seeing this with video games. Nowadays, like bigger video games.
Yeah.
Battle passes.
That's
how they get you too.
Yeah.
Like Fortnite. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Fortnite, Rocket League, any other battle royale game in existence.
Yeah.
Battle Royale.
But wait a
second.
That's a ban. I feel like what we're seeing here is even worse. Because it's like one thing for people to waste their money on like subscriptions and like whatever, but like this planned obsolescence of phones and like gadgets that take a lot to produce, like the chemicals that like and kind of minerals that allow like the batteries in our phones to like function are like, they're not, they don't come cheap. Like, like they have to be like mined by like actual people.
Oh yeah.
And we don't have an unlimited amount of it. So like, I don't know.
I would kind of understand it, something like this, if like, it's every 2-3 years something gets released. But it's like 6 months, there's a new iPhone. 6 months, there's a new iPhone. 6 months, there's a new iPhone.
Yeah, like
and
that's so wasteful.
Did you ever see those pictures online where the iPhone is like extensively long?
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
It's gonna be like that eventually.
I mean, not really. It's not been it hasn't. It's been getting smaller, right?
No, actually.
Well, there's more
been getting
options.
bigger now.
Yeah.
But what Aiden is talking about, I think, is just parody
Yeah. It's just like
for now.
hopefully. I mean, hope it doesn't come to reality. That'd be ridiculous.
I can't fit that in my pocket if it's 3 feet long. Anyway, we can also complain about this all day, but I think we have everybody's favorite segment. Am I in the wrong?
Am I in the
Yes.
wrong?
Yes, you absolutely are.
Oh, okay. All right, Jake, take over.
All right, word. You're listening to the 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, and this is the Morning Buzz. We're talking, am I in the wrong? Kyle was, so he left. So we're going to get started with the first one. Okay. My boyfriend, 27, and I, 26, have been together for 2 years. He's a good heart. I'm assuming this person meant to say he has a good heart. That'd be odd if she was just like dating heart. He's a good heart and is normally rational, but his one issue is that he expects to accompany me in every occasion, no matter how big or small. He went with me to my ex-boyfriend's funeral after days of begging. Oh boy. Man, Kyle, what do you think about this?
What?
Yeah, you didn't hear it?
I did, but I thought there was more to it.
No, that's it.
Really?
Well,
Oh
No, there's.
No, there's this.
Oh wait, gosh, why are they different bullets? Okay. Now my best friend got married a few days ago. It was very small and only close family and friends were invited. My boyfriend couldn't come because of the +1 rule. He pitched a fit, saying my best friend had no respect for my relationship and was shocked when he learned that I was still going to attend. He told me that if he can't go, then I'm expected not to go as well. But that is my best friend, and I had to respect her rules. He gave me an ultimatum: either we go together or I stay home with him. I ended up going because I respected my friend's rules. He was angry with me and kept calling the entire 2-hour drive, then stopped. Later, I got a text from his friend telling me he got into an accident and was taken to the hospital. I freaked out. He gave me the address, and I had to leave the wedding and told my friends why. I was crying the entire drive home and kept calling his friends, but got no response. I arrived to the hospital and asked about my boyfriend, and they checked and told me he wasn't there. My anxiety reached 160% as I kept calling his friends one by one. I just went home and there he was, along with his friends. He saw me and said that he was sorry, but it was the only way he could get me home after I left him home. After the initial shock, I blew up yelling about him lying and making me leave my friend's wedding and having me literally go to the hospital and freaking out because of him. I kicked his friend out and we got into an argument. He kept on talking about how much I love him. Thus, I left, which is my own doing, not his. He was just trying to see if I really chose my friend's wedding over him. Then he argued that my friend caused this and that I shouldn't agree with her to exclude him. I said what he did was horrible and called him horrible and then went to my room. It's awful because my friends kept calling to check in on him because they thought that he was really at the hospital. He said I was overreacting and that I yelled at the wrong person. Am I in the wrong? Did I?
Absolutely not.
No.
Oh,
No. Absolutely not.
dude.
no way.
Absolutely not.
There are certain things you don't joke about or even use as a method of tricking somebody. This is one of them.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Just say, don't say, yeah, he's in the hospital. He got into an accident. Just say, I don't know.
What happened to faking an illness?
He was making food and he set a part of the house on fire, but it's out now.
Bro, I feel
But you should probably come home.
I feel so bad for this person. Could you
Yes.
imagine somebody fakes a hospital visit to get you out of like
Your best friend's wedding.
Yeah.
You might want to
Terrible.
rethink that. He has the good heart statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that happening to you and then you having to go on Reddit and type out a whole thing
That's
to
when
see
you
if
know.
you're okay? That's when you know that you truly just have no like sense of yourself.
Oh my goodness.
No.
This is obsessive.
This is awful.
No, this is a very sad
This is worse than the hair
Get
bear.
out. The hair bear.
Hair bear.
This is worse.
Take
This
the
is
hair
the
bear
worst.
No,
and
it is
run.
actually worse.
Like,
At least
fine.
that had good intentions.
This-
This is
yeah,
just
this
obsessive.
dude's
Oh,
just
the
This
hair
is
bear.
just being
terrifying.
an awful human being.
I could say I understand where he's coming from,
But I
Don't.
cannot.
What?
I can't.
but no.
I can't.
That's
Expand
scary.
on
Like I
that.
can understand.
scares
I
me,
can.
Kyle.
Notes.
I can understand his frustration with not being able to go and her going by herself. What he did as a result of that, no.
Another thing, it was
Yeah.
early in the thing. He was begging to go to a funeral.
Yeah.
That part I missed because I air
Yeah.
quotes wasn't here.
Please let me go to your funeral.
He even
Please let
went
me go to
with
your-
me to my export.
Well,
Oh,
actually,
wait!
I thought that was kind of weird.
I
Because
thought she
Yeah.
begged him to go.
No,
No.
he
He
begged
begged to go with her.
to go to her ex-boyfriend's funeral. Like what?
Which I could like see that conversation being like, oh no, don't go alone. Like that seems a little bit more tame than like
Still,
what happened later, which just means that it's not. It's
Yeah.
but it
still,
says
like, he's
he-
just
after
obsessed.
days of begging. So she was probably
I
just like,
thought it was,
Yeah.
please come with me.
no,
This is important to me.
no, he
No.
begged her to go to the funeral.
Did it?
He begged her to let him go to
Oh.
the funeral.
Yeah.
Mm.
The one issue that expects to accompany me in every occasion. I missed that part. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
This
Bad.
is some strange behavior.
The
Yeah.
person is absolutely not in the wrong.
No. The person who
No.
wrote this.
Yes.
It's actually insane that they had to ask. That it got
No.
that
That's
bad.
called
Yeah.
gaslighting.
Yeah.
This
No.
is one of those things where like I've told stories to my friends too, and I'd be like, what do you think? And they're like, this is so obviously creepy, or this is so obviously this. I'm like, okay, cool. I just needed some validation from someone else. No, not you, Kyle. No, just in life, and it's just so obvious that
Yeah.
someone is really scary, and then it
I
just
do think
sometimes you
there
need
is
someone
a
else to
point.
say so.
Maybe, yeah, like that. But also,
Yeah.
like, there's a point. You just need to talk about it.
Mhm.
So maybe not
Yeah.
am I in the wrong, but he's like, can you believe this happened?
Yeah.
I need you to tell somebody who's
Mhm.
not part of the problem about this.
Mm.
Because it's really obvious, at least
Yeah.
to me.
No.
They need to get out.
Like
Please.
I get it. Okay, I'd love to go with you to the wedding. We're together. That's it. I'm dying. Please come. No, too far.
Yeah, I have to
No.
agree.
Yeah. I get the vibe that this dude just has like absolutely no life and like
Yeah.
absolutely
That-
nothing going for him except this relationship. So he feels the need to like make sure that like he gets everything he can out of it.
Mhm.
So like if she's doing anything, he has to be a part of it.
Mhm.
He's just a parasite.
That's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be like actual separation anxiety. That might be a
That
thing.
could be the case too.
I don't know. Then like have a conversation about it.
Yeah, go to
Don't-
therapy.
Yeah. Don't-
Haha, easier said than done.
I don't know. Again, the whole hospital thing, that's just way too much.
I don't think anybody's disagreeing with that.
Yeah.
So all in agreement, not in the wrong.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not in the
Not in the
wrong.
wrong.
I wish I had like a gavel or something.
Insert gavel here. Bonk.
Next story.
I'll read it.
Okay, thank you, Tana.
For a couple years, I've been saving up for a house, and this year I think I'm able to buy one. I'm not rushing into it. I want to take my time and find something I really love. But I'm seriously looking and touring a lot of places. I've been in a relationship with my boyfriend Dan for a year.
Oh gosh.
At the start of our relationship, we talked about not wanting to rush living together, not seeing ourselves as living together for several years. At this time, I had a studio apartment and he had an apartment he shared with two roommates. So when I was touring houses, I was really looking for something for myself. It would be all my money invested in it. And for this foreseeable future, I'd be living alone. I also had my dad, who used to work as a home inspector come and visit on and off recently to help me look. And since I've started seeing houses, my boyfriend has a lot of opinions, which make me feel like he is seeing the house as something to share instead of a house for myself. I looked at a few houses with shared walls and with the neighbors and close to the street in the neighborhood where I work and go out most often. I like them, but each ended up having a big enough issue that I didn't put up an offer. I was still in consideration for a row house in that neighborhood, though. My boyfriend said that it was good. I didn't put in an offer for any of them. He hated them, thought it was a bad idea to get a house with no space. I said I was still looking for that sort of house, just not those particular ones. And he got frustrated, saying I was doing something stupid, buying a house that is practically an apartment. That the point of a house is to have more privacy from neighbors and more space, not to be in a spot just like an apartment. I said that I wanted a house so I would keep giving my paycheck to a landlord, and so I could build up equity and savings in real estate, and I could do that just as well in an apartment like house because it was in a very desirable neighborhood that was increasing in value. He said I was too immature to be buying a house if I'm still looking for the apartment lifestyle of being in the city. I felt like that was rude. I'm younger, 25 to his 30, but I know what I'm doing. And I have my dad to help. He's pretty much an expert in real estate, working in the industry for 30 years. I got frustrated with him and said that I was buying myself a house and he didn't get any more input on it, on how I spend my money, my own pay, other than any other time I choose to spend my paycheck on. He got upset with me and said that we were supposed to be partners, and he thought I was making a mistake. Okay, this sounds dumb, but hear me out. I've always been wait.
No, you're right. Keep going.
No, that's the end of it.
All right.
So is this person in the wrong for wanting to buy a house?
No.
I don't think so.
I will. No, I don't think so.
No. If she said at first they wanted to be separate and then the guy just started putting his input in, kind of
and also
confusing.
Yeah, and also if it's the first house, why not?
Yeah.
I feel like they need to have a pinned post on the subreddit that just says, just break up with them, homie. just end it. You're doing nothing wrong. Just it's him, just dump him and that's it. Because like I don't know, this is like the second story now where it's just unambiguously this person is he's not in the wrong.
Well,
I don't think there's any discuss like it, especially since at the start it said, "Oh, we didn't want to rush living together, so I was shopping for myself." Then back off, dude. It's not your house.
I mean, I could kind of understand him just giving his opinion, but like I don't know.
I feel like
he just kept pushing it.
Yeah,
and
he did more than that
because he's probably assuming that he'll eventually move in.
Yeah,
but you can't
then put up the money, dude.
Yeah, you can't do that now and tell this person what house they should or shouldn't buy.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's not your house, so back off.
I also see a little bit of projection here because like homie's 30 and he's still kind of living in an apartment, like with his bros. Like, don't get me wrong.
Did it say that?
Yeah,
yes.
that's what it said. There's nothing wrong with that, but I could see how somebody in that situation might have some anxiety about like, dang, maybe I should be like doing something more and in a more, I guess, mature position, or I guess what our society kind of sees as mature. And I could see like when someone close to you starts to move up like that, it might make you feel a little anxious, which is the vibe I got.
That is understandable. I get that one, but I don't think he's in the right.
No.
Still, no. Like, okay, yeah, your partner is a partner, girl, whatever it was, is ready to buy a house 5 years before you are, and you'll be like, oh, that's cool. I'm still in this cramped space with two guys who probably aren't the most hygienic. That's just me talking from experience. Maybe I should have some input on this because I might not want to be here till I'm 50. But that doesn't mean you should be like, absolutely not. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the last one real quickly. And since this one has to do with food again, it looks like I'll take it. Okay, this sounds dumb, but hear me out. I've always been a picky eater, especially when it comes to tomatoes. Amen to that. Ever since I was a kid, my dad would make spaghetti from different. My dad would make spaghetti different from the rest of the house. I like having the essence of the sauce flavor on the noodles, but not the overpowering flavor having the noodles bathed in sauce. So here's where it gets a bit odd. My dad would separate my spaghetti from the family's after putting the sauce on, and then would rinse the sauce off in the sink and strainer. I love noodles like this as it is nice, subtle tomato vibe given to the mild spaghetti. I'm sorry, I'm going to stop here for a second. Did they just say they washed spaghetti?
Yes.
Yeah.
They said they like everybody got the vibe that he rinsed the spaghetti off with the water, right?
Yeah.
That's not just me.
No.
That's the thing.
Okay, moving on. My 20-year-old boyfriend, I as a 20-year-old and my boyfriend 26 has known about this since we started dating. He always told me my food habits were cute. We've been dating for almost 3 years now and moved in together at the beginning of the pandemic so we could be in lockdown together. Sure, that was a smart idea. Ever since we moved in together, he insists on taking charge of cooking and all cooking related tasks, dishes, grocery shopping, etc. And assigned me much to the role of cleaning the bulk of the apartment. We split our task pretty much 50-50 too. Everything seemed perfect, and he always seemed to be making the noodles the way I liked them when we had them. This was until last week when we last had spaghetti. We ate everything was good afterwards, and he started teasing me, saying things like, "You really like your pasta with the essence of tomato, and how is your tomato essence, babe?" Always using finger quotes around the word essence. After a few comments, I felt something was off and asked him if he'd done anything different with tonight's noodles than he usually does, and he started laughing. When he finally stopped laughing, he told me the truth while smirking. He said, "I didn't do anything different than I usually do." I have never been making it the way you have requested. Apparently, the entire time we were living together, he's just been skipping the pasta sauce on my noodles entirely. He claimed that if I didn't notice for this long, it shouldn't matter that he was making dinner the way that was easier for him. I disagreed entirely. I think the lying was a huge breach of trust, and so that the refusal to make dinner how I wanted. I have admittedly been acting passive aggressively to him since, but he thinks he did nothing wrong. Am I overreacting? Yeah. Wait, he said that I'm overreacting and that I need to let it go. Am I in the wrong? Edits. My boyfriend found the post and he is not happy. I'm debating pouring the sauce directly down the drain to spite him. Edit 2. So a lot has happened since this morning. Y'all may be happy to hear we broke up.
Oh no.
We had a huge blow up fight since he found the post, which led to me breaking up with him. He did not like being called a predator, and I started to think y'all had a point about that, so I ended up breaking up with him. He attempted to plead with me a bit, but my parents pay our rent, so he can't afford a place without me, but I wouldn't budge. My parents pay our rent. Got it. Now, some things I found in this argument first. Some things I found out in the argument. First, he is not a pharmacist like.
Okay, that must not be related.
No, I think it is.
Oh.
He's not a pharmacist like he always told me. He just works at CVS. Second, he has actually cheated on me multiple times with other girls that go to my college. And lastly, and worst of all, he's never actually been allergic to dogs. He just doesn't like them.
Oh,
okay.
Wow. I love the stories.
The pasta breakup, I was a little bit, maybe not. Never mind. Okay. You're not in the wrong.
Okay. So first off,
wait,
the part. Okay.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
As an Italian, you are wrong for washing pasta with water.
Okay. So first off, I did pick up when they talked about him being a predator. When she said, we've been dating for 3 years and it's 20. I was a little like, oh,
wait, yeah, you're
and
right.
and he's 26.
Uh-huh.
So we've been 23.
Good catch.
Good point.
I was kind of like, I did the math and I was like,
Okay,
but
other than the rinsing the pasta off,
okay,
she's not in the wrong.
okay, but I do actually, and I might get hate from everyone. This is I like kind of like my pasta the same way. I don't like a lot of sauce.
That's fair
On it.
No, that's okay. You're allowed to like as much sauce as you want. I don't
rinse it. I usually say
that's the part that weirds me out.
I usually say put like the least amount of sauce as possible. Just have it so that the noodles are have sauce on them.
That is completely fair.
Because the tomato, I like the tomato essence, but I don't like the tomato sauce. So
I don't know.
At first, I thought this was me writing this, but clearly I didn't.
Look, I'm not trying to.
I'm glad.
I'm Italian. Okay, let's get that fact out of the way. If you couldn't tell, Pepitone is an Italian last name, mistakenly called Pepitone by everyone I've ever met in existence.
I've never called you that.
Why would I call you that?
Bit of exaggeration. Anyway, I'm just. It's weird to rinse pasta after it's been topped with sauce or something.
Yeah, you're right.
That's my thing. Like, obviously you cook pasta in water. Also, first of all, stop calling spaghetti noodles, please.
Wait.
Noodles are for ramen. Spaghetti is pasta.
Yep.
Well,
that's all I'm gonna say. I completely agree with everything else.
But they're noodles though.
Depends on the shape. Depends on like how.
Am I gonna look up the definition of noodle right now?
Noodles is not
I'm gonna do it.
really a term used for Italian dishes. It's more for
they're more
Asian dishes.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Noodle are a type of food that are made from unleavened dough, which is rolled flat and cut, stretched, or extruded.
I mean, that sounds a lot like
strips
pasta.
Or strings.
That sounds like pasta. Sorry, homie.
Okay, wait.
No, it very well could fit the definition. I'm just saying culturally.
Yeah, no, that
Italians don't really refer to
it.
them
Also,
as
I feel like it's the shape, right?
Noodles
like I feel like a lot.
I think noodles are a lot thicker.
I think noodles they can be thicker,
they
but I
can.
think they're like more cylindrical. You know.
That
They
too,
could also be really thin.
Yeah, that's very true. Spaghetti and like pasta and stuff like that is a bit flatter.
Yeah.
Anyway,
this had nothing to do with the. I'm saying she's not in the wrong.
Yeah,
based on
she is not in the wrong, and I feel
it sounds like she dodged a bullet.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of.
It's
like I
funny
said,
how small, silly things like that can like really be reflective. Like, like it, like there's so much terrible stuff going on.
I feel like
I called it before. I'm saying moving in to spend lockdown together.
Yeah.
Not the best idea.
Yeah.
No, that guy creepy. Also, just hot take, I will defend the picky eaters out there because someone's got to do it with Tanner.
Oh, I will too.
Go rinse that spaghetti.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. Just culturally, I've never seen that before.
I would rinse the pizza.
Yeah, I would rinse your carrots and then put them on your pizza.
Wait, no, I almost fell back. I saw an Instagram post with somebody doing that.
No.
Rinsing
pizza?
Yes, I saw an Instagram post. It was I forget exactly what it said, but it said something like, "Oh, he said his pizza was too hot." And it was somebody running their pizza underwater before taking a bite out of it.
No, disrespect. Oh,
you found
it?
I don't know if it's the post, but I found it.
Let me see.
That is
no, it wasn't an actual video.
Oh,
if it's what you want.
Okay, moving on. Oh, here's a fun story.
Disrespecting Italians. Oh, Kyle, calm down there. It's okay. It's gonna be.
There's a lot of Kyle slander going on today.
Yeah.
And that brings us into our next story.
Does it?
Oh yeah, Isaiah. Thank you for this one. Maybe we should go to break first.
10 minutes left, Kyle.
I know. We have to do the legal stuff to keep the lights on. Okay. We'll be right back before we continue with the Kyle slander.
Damn, turn the water off while brushing my teeth. Darling.
Kyle's
gonna
take a break.
Hello. Welcome back to the Morning Buzz. I misspoke earlier. This story is kind of in my favor. But before that, I'm your host, Kyle Pep. This is Tuesday Morning Buzz. I'm your host, Kyle Pepitone. My co-host is Jacob Goetz. Our newscaster is Aiden Ivers. Our sportscaster is Tanner Price.
Did you know every rest stop in Massachusetts that has a McDonald's, there's a roadmap of every McDonald's in Massachusetts on the highway?
That's my name.
And did you know, Tanner, in Sedona, in Arizona, there's a McDonald's with a blue logo instead of a yellow one?
No.
Did you know that my last name is McDonald's?
Yes, and our Emily segment host, Music McDonald. Did you all know that LeBron has found something he's bad at?
What?
Yeah. And I called it. According to CBSSports.com. This is Isaiah writing, by the way. I'm reading what Isaiah told me to read. The rivalry between Kyle, LeBron James, and Space Jam 2 has seemingly come to its endpoint. LeBron James has secured the biggest L an actor can take when it comes to award season. Space Jam: A New Legacy was well represented in the 40-second Golden Raspberry Awards, earning 4 nominations and winning 3 of them. If you are unfamiliar, the Raspberries are the opposite of the Oscars, where they showcase the worst of movies and people actually care about them. LeBron James came away with the award for Worst Actor. The film itself earned awards for Worst Screen Combo, that being LeBron with any Warner Brothers character or product, and Worst Prequel, Ripoff, or Sequel. Space Jam: A New Legacy was also nominated for Worst Picture, which unfortunately lost to Diana the Musical. James has become the latest NBA star to win a Razzie Award. Dennis Rodman won 3 for his performance in 1997's Double Team, including Worst Supporting Actor and Worst New Star. The same year, Shaquille O'Neal was nominated for Worst Actor in his performance in Steel. Not everything was terrible because the movie itself earned $162.8 million at the box office, just enough to cover its $150 million budget.
Very sad.
LeBron James.
I feel better now. Everything about the noodles has washed away, just like the sauce.
I get it.
Is there anything we can actually talk about that?
Bet.
Honestly,
my cranberry.
I mean, just
one query.
What?
Cranberry.
I mean, that's what I actually find interesting is that there is an official award ceremony for the worst movies.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
I think that's important.
That's better. That's better than the best.
Like I said,
it's important representation.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I'm actually going for the worst every day.
As someone that loves to watch bad movies and make fun of them, that's what me and my family do all the time. We watch bad movies that we find on the internet. Watch them. It's better than watching. The experience of watching I saw this on a TikTok yesterday, and I wholeheartedly agree with it. The experience of watching a movie that should be ranked 0 out of 10, is better than watching a movie that is 5 out of 10.
100%. I will take laughing at a bad movie with friends over a Marvel movie any day.
Oh
yeah.
I don't know I don't know every Marvel movie.
I don't know about everyone, but like
the 10 origin stories that are the same story. And I'm a Marvel fan, and I'm tired of those movies.
You guys want to hear about a bad movie? I didn't even watch the whole thing. I saw 5 minutes. I'm like, oh,
what?
Velocipaster.
I watched that whole movie.
The what?
You did?
I watched that whole movie.
Oh my gosh!
The best part of it,
dude,
it was insane. Ninjas show up.
Oh
no! The best scene about it. My favorite scene in it is in the beginning of the movie. The pastor's parents, their car explodes.
Yes.
Instead of showing the explosion, it just says visual effects.
Yes!
And I think it was intentional. It's like visual effects are supposed to go here.
It was a blank slate. It was a blank parking lot, and instead of a car on fire, it literally says VFX shot goes here.
Yeah, I watched that entire film.
Oh my god! Why do I want to make that now? Like, what kind of genre is that? Like, what breed of movie?
It has to be parody. There's no way you could do that seriously.
It has to be. It has to be.
However, a movie I would put in the same category that was actually entertaining to watch was You found it? You found it?
I found it.
That is outstanding.
A movie I would also put in the same category as Velocipaster, but one that was actually good and entertaining to watch was Kung Fury. I don't know if any of you have ever seen that one.
Negative.
No.
Okay, but
here I found it.
it's like a 30-minute short movie. It's very entertaining. Do you have it?
Oh, that's so funny. It literally
VFX,
says
VFX car on fire.
I love that for them.
Oh, I have to sit down and watch that movie.
Why not stand, Kyle?
Yeah, there's like vampires and ninjas and stuff.
Never mind. I'm not going to call out family members right now.
Another, let's see. Oh, there's one that it's this made for TV children's superhero movie called Creating Rem Lazar. It is awful.
Copy.
What is the worst movie all of you have seen? Everybody get in on this.
Worst movie I've ever seen.
The worst movie I've ever seen is either The Last Airbender
Fair enough.
or Teen Wolf, the Michael J. Fox movie. Because the entire reason that movie has any following is because of Back to the Future, because it was made before Back to the Future was released, but they delayed it until Back to the Future was released. So everyone would be like, oh my God, Michael J. Fox. And then so every movie he's in, people will go see because he's the hottest new actor. And then that movie came out and it's awful. And there's a scene where they're playing basketball. And a player gets injured.
Okay.
And someone forgot what scenes go where. And in the next shot, he's running and he's on the bench. He's on the bench. He's playing basketball. He's perfectly fine. The scene before, his leg is like snapped in half.
There's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Baywatch is up there for me. If we're talking about worst movies we've ever seen, Baywatch.
I haven't seen the full thing, but the Battleship movie.
With
Rihanna.
Oh my God, it was.
I've never seen that.
I remember seeing the trailers for that.
I remember like the baseball scene or whatever.
Yeah. I saw a movie. I don't know why I watched this movie. It was called Yes Man. And Jim Carrey was in it. It was so awful. I can't believe I sat through that.
Wait, is that the one where he can't lie, or is that a different
it's
one?
like he has to say yes to everything.
Oh, then I'm thinking liar.
Can I add? Yeah. Can I add one more? There's because
welcome to Tanner's segment, everyone.
No, there is a movie. It's an M. Night Shyamalan movie, with Mark Wahlberg called The Happening.
Oh yes.
Oh my goodness.
Happening's a pretty famous.
Movie. Many moons ago, my friend showed me a trailer for that. I got scared.
Oh, it is awful.
It is. It's really bad.
M. Night Shyamalan is a hit or miss.
It mostly miss. He hit on one movie and that's
Unbreakable or Split. Which one?
No, Sixth Sense.
Oh yeah, I rather enjoyed Unbreakable, Split, and Glass.
I've never seen that.
I want to see Glass.
That is the Bruce Willis superhero universe.
I've seen.
Man, Old was that's M. Night Shyamalan's most recent film, Old, which is about like a beach that makes people age like really fast.
Oh yeah.
And that movie was like, but so bad, but like that was like the good type of bad, where it was just absolutely hilarious.
Well, here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, we stay young forever. This has been the Tuesday Morning Buzz. I have been your host, Kyle Pepitone, joined with my co-host Jacob Goetz, newscaster and temporary co-host. Thank you, Aiden, for filling in. Aiden Ivers, sportscaster Tanner Price,
McDonald's,
and Emily McCormack, the Tunes on Tuesday segment host. I saved it.
I hated the recent Cinderella.
You're not wrong.
Hey, you're